So whatever happens, happens, which would be cool if I was eating my Thanksgiving leftovers right now. Anyway, hey everybody, this is Retrokid Reviews doing a long overdue Netflix review of what took, honestly, the entire summer, fall to finally binge. I speak, of course, Squid. No, I'm just kidding with you. We're doing Cowboy Bebop, the live-action remake. Yeah, I'm gonna just put the full disclaimer. I know everyone's saying reboot this or like adaptation that. It's definitely remake. Long story short on that, aside from me fixing up my lighting, I think it's fine. I know even saying that four-letter word is pissing off so many channels right now to the point of making 4-hour rants about a character who showed up for no less than 40 seconds in the last episode, but we'll get to the spoilers in a minute. So, for those who've been following the news on this show throughout the entire summer, like I had to do, mainly due to the grounds of Daniel Panina, hope I got her last name right, who was playing Faye, because everyone thought she was just not sexy enough or cosplayed enough like her, and I'm like, okay, sure, let's play that game. Let's play the game of, yeah, you tried doing that in an actual action scene throughout the entire show for 10 hours. And yeah, I'm going to do sporadic spoilers because I'm half pissed and half agreeing with most of those channelers. More on that in a minute. Starting off at the top, Jong Cho as Spike Spiegel is one of those now out of nowhere complaints, which I didn't hear all summer up until now, was mainly, oh, he's too old for role. I thought the same thing too, but more in the lines of like, if he did this immediately after like Star Trek Beyond, I could totally buy it. I'm betting most of those reactionary channels are like, oh, if he did it right after Harold Kumar, it would be okay. Like, no, I mean, yeah, he would be the right amount of age he would have to be to play Spike in this case, or Felix. Yeah, those additions I do kind of have to tap out and agree on some of the additions they were trying to make to this anime. And keep in mind with the actual retro review that you've all been waiting for me to do for the original series, given how mediocre or I guess mixed in professional sense in my channel's case, I will 100% do a adaptation, not adaptation, sorry, retro review of the movie Knock 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 on Heaven's Door. I just always saw it as the movie because I got the Sony dub years ago. I know I should have got like probably the original, whatever. Also, I will definitely be breaking out the original DVD of my Bandai dub for the end of the year because this is definitely going to be on the best and worst when it comes to television. And on the best category, I just want to say honorable mention, maybe if I'm going back on a 10 scale, I would put it at 10 because there are episodes I legitimately think are okay. Not so much those first 3 episodes. Okay, fine. I can agree that it's too accurate, like the show, and I think it's still fine. I think everyone is doing the lines just fine. So much so, I think as far as changes go, as far as this adaptation goes, Mustafa Sakar, I hope I got your name right, is adaptation of Jet Black is pretty damn good. For those who apparently forgot the original anime, he was a little more not like whatever he is. The changes they did with Jet, I'll say without having to show my cards of how much I really feel about this character, are fine. He's doing the best that he could with the material, just like the original voice actor did, and I think it's just fine. The only change is that he's not whatever he was after being an ex-cop and everything. He actually is also an ex-cop and an ex-dad, and it makes more sense, gives him more to do with the material, which is okay. What I am actually going to have to also tap my hand and agree with is, how do I say this? Vicious. Not Axel. Alex Hensel, I thought did the best he could also with the material as Vicious. I also agree with the fandom that he has a little too much more screen time than he really should be, because the big episode that I said, even in my trailer react card too, that they have to pull off or else I'm out, I would hit the eject button too, is Battle of the Full Angels. I did not know it would take 10 episodes to build up to that confrontation, but I was all for it. If that was your addition to just build up that confrontation, go ahead. For Mason Alexander Park playing Gren, I think they're one of 2 non-binary actors, as we'll get to Ed in a minute. I think he's fine. Sorry, they're fine. Sorry for the pronouns there. I think they did the best that they could. Also with the material. Also, as far as Gren's case, none of their I guess crucial scenes are here yet until like maybe season 2. Other than that, let's get to Ed. Long story short, Eden Perkins is also another non-binary actor, and I think they did the best with the code of material. Keep in mind, I don't have a full scope of if they're going to do it worse in this particular actor's case. Also, keep in mind, this non-binary character is played by a first-time kid actor, so I respect this person's objectives being this character, and they said that they are a big fan of this anime and character as well. If it sounds like I'm doing experts off of Chris Stuckman's review, also Card 2, I am. And if I'm also ranting a little bit like Cosmonaut Variety Hours just did, yeah, also cards, but I'll put both in the description down below if you guys want to hear both sides of the argument that were the most favorable. I think Marcus did have a huge stupid rant, but he is speaking the same kind of language. However, am going to give Season 2 a better chance. So, for non-spoilers for the whole 10 episodes leading up to Battle of the Fallen Angels, aka the real episode I was paying most attention to, it was fine. Yeah, they changed things around, which, again, was what you should do as an adaptation. And in Marcus's case, he went a little too hard that Western adaptations are bad, which I agree with on the Dragon Ball Evolution side of things, on the Ghost in the Shell side of things, even though I tried championing that when the trailers came out, and I guess 3 years later, I could just tap out and say, okay, was that bad? Honestly, I'll agree with. But everyone, including myself, would forget that where this was getting shot. It was getting shot in New Zealand, and as a card-carrying, still to this day, Power Rangers fan during, even the Disney era, this is a country that has the most amount of landscape to show all the planets you want to show in the core anime itself. Also, keep in mind, Cowboy Bebop does not have a manga. This was one of the very rare 90s animes that did not need a manga. This was one of them. So, they're going to go off-script a little bit harder than usual, and be a little too faithful harder than usual because there's no manga to leap off of that they could work off of. So again, that is where we are. Sorry if I'm off-angled like all the Dutch angles that the show had, which I also have to agree with is a bit of a hindrance, but is... Wow, again, week 2, back-to-back with these spitals? My bad. It's, the transitions are... the Dutch angles help with transitions on some stuff, especially the action scenes. Another thing I'm also going to have to disagree with is that Zhang Shou is trying as hard as with the stunts. I also agree 100% that it's not going to be as fluid as Spike does in the actual anime itself. But keep in mind, I put up with Toku adaptations turned into Power Ranger shows for a living. I put up with Power Ranger shows of Sentai. Again, I know what this is going to be like. And the fact that everyone in the anime genre just magically forget that somehow is pretty much baffling to me. So, with all my hot takes out of the way, in case you can tell with this video, I haven't really got to the actual plot itself. I haven't actually got to how they changed a lot of, Spike's and, Vicious's backstories. I think the second to last episode in episode 9 was, the big flashback episode, which kudos to them that they just went full flashback instead of just doing it, sporadically throughout the whole show, which is okay. They did kept, that kind of card to the chest when it comes to that style of storytelling. Shinichiro Watanabe, who did the original anime, and Yoko Kanno, who did the soundtrack of the original anime, also were consultants for both the show itself and for the soundtrack. I'm not a music guy. I know everyone and their mother is going to tell me that the Steve Aoki cover is probably the worst opening title for the whole episodes, which I'm okay with, honestly. Aoki's not my cup of tea when it comes to, DJs and stuff like that, but I think he has something like that. I would listen to it if it was the soundtrack, which is fine. It's an okay cover. It could be worse, personally. So, me having to calm down going so guns hot on this show, this is kind of how it's been built up all year, and this is the first of many adaptations I'm going to have to defend because, yeah, the trilogy of defending Netflix shows kind of start right now. I'm not defending, obviously, the One Piece anime they announced. More power to the cast, God willingly. I know a lot of shonen anime fans are going to go ham explaining to death how they're going to fuck this up, and to be fair, it is One Piece, and it has a huger fan base than Cowboy Bebop and probably every core shonen anime down to even DBZ fans like myself. So I know where they're going to be when that show comes out next year. I get it. I really do. As for the show itself, my overall grading, and this is me not at all being salty about how Angry Joe graded it. My bad in advance. Sorry, Joe. 6 out of 10. Yeah, it's average. It's a little too faithful to the anime. I'll have to tap my hand and agree with, especially the episode 10 when they finally did Battle of the Fallen Angels. I also have to agree with Julia, because she heel-turned out of goddamn nowhere, and I also understand why they did that, because they have to move the goalpost to when Spike and Vicious do round 2. And to Alex Hensel, who played Vicious, I hope you find some sort of, executive decision to finally dye the eyebrows like Vicious, because that was the only thing that was very much distracting to me throughout the whole watch. Sorry, it kind of how I felt costuming-wise. I also know he had a dad that wasn't in the original anime. I know that was an addition. John Noble, who is a really good character actor, especially during, God, I forgot the show. Oh, hang on. Thank God I need to be on standby for this. I was ready for this rant, in case you could tell. Or I guess counter rant. The Lord of the Rings series, obviously he was Jonathan Crane for Arkham Knight. Fringe, totally forgot. Just check him out on Fringe. That's like, check his body of work. It's a lot better than that. And yeah, this is gonna be the only show and or movie I'm gonna have to defend, because later this weekend, hopefully, I'm gonna have to also sit through Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City. So in case anyone wants to see actual Resident Evil fans try to, say their piece about it, Resident Evil did a whole, I guess, Q&A stream about the whole thing. They brought, Sphere Hunter also. Susie did a great job just being with the whole crew. It was a really nice experience. They did shit on the show, the movie, but not as egregious like most fans are probably going to be doing right now, myself included. I know Trench loves the movie regardless, and he also loves Ghostbusters Afterlife regardless, and out of the two movies, I'm probably going to defend Ghostbusters Afterlife more. Go to my review of that. So, yes, ultimately, do you really need to see the live-action adaptation of Cowboy Bebop? Sorry, I'm slurring more than usual. Anyway, yes and no. If you're a fan of the anime, you're going to get the right amount of... You're going to get what you expected it was going to end up being. If you're new to the show, and if you really think this is crap, go ahead, watch the anime. It's on Netflix. And like I said, if for some reason it's that bad where Netflix has to pull the original anime, need to remind you, Netflix, me and a bunch of OG fans have the original anime. Unlike Gary from Nerdrotic or Clownfish TV, we're gonna bitch on and on, well, might as well watch the original. No, I'll watch the original on my own time. I don't have to do this immediately. I'm not like them. So, putting my flag on the table for every reactionary channel ever, and if this is finally the end card, go to my writer built here, because yes, I'm gonna be using it in every video from here on out, because I worked my ass off getting this. Yeah, I know it's not a CSM Bell Cougar driver, but I really do like it. To my previous video, which was me covering mostly, I think G4, and what else did I do? Oh, yes, Ghostbusters Afterlife, that review. So, for more defense there, and shorts playlist here, also for a bunch of other news posts that I missed out during during Thanksgiving weekend. Shirt here, obviously, to hit the notification down below, and notifications, and I guess use the comments to dislike my adult taste that I think it's fine. Fine, go ahead. But keep in mind, it's still Cowboy Bebop. You can still watch the original. I still think it has a long way to go for Season 2, and you went out of your way for Ed. Just leave the kid alone. Leave them alone. I'm just saying, not all of it is bad. Some of it I'll agree with. I like the VR episode and everything. I'm rambling more than usual. I'm Retrokid Reviews. Freaking Bebop, am I right, my guy?